Thank you so much. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Mr. Ashim.
And thank you so much for accepting the being a session in Dewan Al-Bili, and I really appreciate it. So today is August 2nd, 2026. So before we start, before introducing you, and I just want to start with something has to do with the session. So first of all, our today's, and also is gonna, some of the things is gonna be in Arabic, I mean, to be honest. So for the audience who has to, I just want to give them a little bit about the professional body in the country of Rwanda, and also during the session I will try to translate and say some terms in Arabic, if you really don't mind. So السلام عليكم ورحمة الله، صباح الخير، كيف حالكم؟ إن شاء الله طيبين. So our today's session is from scarcity to the standards. How Rwanda built a world-class accountancy body and what Sudan can benefit from that. So in Arabic, بالعربي، كيف أسست رواندا هيئة مهنية بمستوى عالمي وما الذي يمكن للسودان أن يستفيد من ذلك. طيب. رواندا كيف يمكن لدولة خرجت من واحدة من أصعب التجارب في تاريخها أن تبني هيئة مهنية تعد اليوم نموذجا عالميا؟ حوار غني بالتجارب العلمية والدروس المستفادة حول بناء المؤسسات المهنية وتأهيل الكفاءات وتطبيق المعايير العالمية وصناعة الثقة مجددا في مهنة المحاسبة. So, Mr. Amin, thank you so much for accepting the session. I mean, for accepting the invitation in our session 2. So the first session was with the CEO of the Sudanese Accounting Auditing Organization Council. So the second session is with the Mr. Amin Mago. So Mr. Amin, how do you want me to call you in the session?
I would prefer as a technical advisor to the IFAC PO Development Advisory Group. IFAC, you already know, PO means Professional Accountancy Development Advisory Group. So actually, that advisory group that I sit on is the one that helps globally to support different countries to develop accountants organizations and also to strengthen the already existing ones and also even share some of the practices.
I see. Okay. So thank you. So I just want to give a little bit of the advisory group that you are technical advisor for, and also I want to say a little bit about IFAC for those who doesn't know IFAC. So Mr. Amin Mago is the technical advisor at IFAC PAO Development Advisory Group, and also was a former CEO of the Certified Public Accounts of Rwanda. So IFAC PAO is a professional accountancy organization development and an advisory group that established in November 2020, I think in November 2005, based on the internet. So for those who doesn't know IFAC is the International Federation of Accountants. It's the global organization for accountancy profession, representing over 180 members and associates in more than 140 countries. And it's founded on October 7th, 1977 in Munich, Germany. So now the HQ of IFAC is in New York, United States of America. So before we go into our topic, I just want to give the audience a little bit about our respected guests. So Amin Mago is a seasoned executive with over a decade of leadership experience in governance, public financial management, institutional development, and professional accounting. As the Chief Executive Officer of Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Rwanda, ICPAR, he also led the transformation of Rwanda accountancy profession, strength, professional education, and regulation, and also guided the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Rwanda to the full membership of International Federation of Accountants. This is, by the way, this is exactly what we are looking for as professionals in Sudan, to get the, or to regain our membership with IPAC. He also has extensive experience in institutional reform, strategic leadership, and implementation of development programs in partnership with international organizations and development partners. Amin has represented Rwanda in regional and global platforms, including Pan-Africa Federation of Accountants, PAFA, and International Federation of Accounting, IPAC, contribute to the achievement of accountants professionals across Africa and beyond. We also recognize for his strategic vision, collaborative leadership, and commitment to excellence. Amin has successfully driven organizational transformation, strengthened governance framework, fostered strategic partnership, and promoted sustainable institutional growth. So, the objective, I just want to give a little bit about the objective and overview of our session. So the session, just to confirm, the session is hosted by Diagonal Bailey Discussion Series. This is a session number 2 as of August 2nd, 2026. So the targeted audience for the session is Sudanese accountants, auditors, financial executives, policymakers, academics, economists, and all business-related fields. The goal is extract practical strategies in legal framework design, qualification, rebuilding, global accreditation. Here I mean IPAC, and also public financial reform to help Sudanese or Sudanese professional can try to benefit from Rwanda's experience, reconstruct and elevate national accountancy institutions. So once again, Ms. Amin, thank you so much for being in our session, and we really appreciate it. We really appreciate that, and to be honest, people are really into this session because I could say within no time, Rwanda managed to create one of the most respected accountancy bodies in Africa, if not around the world. And I also want to mention that I met Mr. Amin in 2019 in a conference in Kigali, the nice city, it's a nice country, I really like it. So before we start into the session, Mr. Amin, I just want to give you the chance to tell people whatever you want to say, and then we can dive into our agenda.
All right. Yeah, thank you, Hashim, for the kind introduction. Yeah, I would say that I'm still at the Institute of Certified Public Accountants, leading that organization. Of course, we've come from very far, and we still have a lot to achieve. For me, my target currently is to make sure that every corner, when you turn around a corner in Kigali or any other part of Rwanda, the first person you should meet, he should be a certified public accountant or a certified accounting technician.
Oh, well done.
That's my mission.
This is very big. Okay.
Yes, it is, but I have some magic formulas how to be able to achieve that. And I think the plans are already shaping up. And we are also very lucky in Rwanda to have, supportive leadership. Yeah, which really helps us to implement all these wonderful ideas. So it's also something that is that we can't take for granted. And of course, I'm also very excited to be able to talk to my Sudanese brothers and sisters. Yeah, so that we can be able to share all these things. Time and again, we've always been told to believe that nothing can come out of Africa, but that's not true. There's a lot that we can
I
be able
agree.
to share their good examples around. It's just because we've just never believed in ourselves, and sometimes we've not given ourselves the opportunity to be able to challenge ourselves to deliver on different things. So I'll be here to share. Of course, I'm aware that the environment in Sudan may be very different from what we have in Rwanda in terms of culture, in terms of all these different aspects. But at least there are some principles that can be picked, and those can be replicated in the Sudanese environment to be able to make some progress. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Amin, for the great introduction. So, before we dive into our session, to be honest, last month when I had the first session with the CEO, Dr. Muhammad Hassan Adam Azrak, he says that they're gonna have a forum for the profession, for the accounting and other professions in the country, and I hope that I will let him know that you or anybody who's representing a CPA Rwanda to be part of that session. So, and I request that we, Sudan and Rwanda, can have a collaboration. At least the benefits would be more, I could say, serious or real. So the session is we can have the session could be divided in two. We will go through our agenda first. We have 4 agendas, and then we can go to the second part of answering the questions that we receive from other professionals. So each agenda has like the main agenda, the theme, and then the key question to Mr. Amin. So if you don't mind, we can start with the first part of the session, which is going to agenda number 1. Can you hear me, Sam?
Yes, we can move.
Okay, thank you. So the first agenda is laying the foundation. So here we talk about governance and mandate. So the theme is establishing a strong regulatory and institutional framework. So with regard to this, Mr. Amin, my question to you is, when starting from a very small pool of local certified accountants, what are the first structural steps a nation must take to establish institutional credibility?
Yeah, so in my view, the first step that a nation must take to build credibility is to first build, institutions. You have to build an institution because, it gives you that foundation upon which every other thing is built. So when you talk about, as accountants, we want to straightly jump into standards, the IFRS, the ISA standards, but these ones do not transform a profession by themselves. It is the institutions that do. So it's very important that we create an independent, credible, and adequately funded professional accountancy organization with a clear legal mandate. Because remember, when you look at an institution like ICPA, we are doing like three critical functions. One is that we are a regulator. So if you're a regulator, you must have a strong legal mandate, because some of the decisions that you might even take may be even challenged in court. So if you're not...
So does that mean you said it's starting from the legal mandate?
Yes. Because some of those decisions, could be challenged into court, so you need to be seated on a strong legal background. Then the next thing is that you must build professionals, or if you're going to build professionals, then you must set up your examination. So we're an examination body that certify that these people really are CPAs, or they are CATs, or they are professionals in their own right. And then of course the other bit that the other hat that ICPA has is that we are also a standard setter. So, we look into the issues of setting standards, even though as a country, we've taken the route of saying there is no need to replicate standards, but rather we should just support the implementation and ensure, because Rwanda is part of the global community, we don't want to be isolated. So, and there's no need to replicate. So we support the implementation of international standards. And we are a very active member. So as a professional body, we contribute to the exposure drafts that have been issued, and we raise different issues so that when these standards are implemented, there are no challenges in our environments. Then of course we also support the implementation, and also raising awareness generally within the country, and ensuring that people even follow those standards.
So with regard to the examination of ICPA, if I say that right, so which route is it? If the examination styles looks like a CPA US or a ACCA UK, or it's completely different structures or different systems?
Okay. So for me, when I look at the examinations, I don't start from the examinations. I start from it's a whole process. You start by looking at the kind of person that you would want to have. So what kind of professionals you want to have. So for us, from our side, we already start from a marketing research. We talk to the public, we talk to the different stakeholders, and ask them, what kind of professionals that do you want to have in Rwanda? Then they tell you different things. Then once we've gathered what the market, the kind of professionals that the market is looking for, then we move ahead and come up with something called a competence framework. All our qualifications are competence based.
I see.
Because these are people who must deliver on the job. Whatever job they're given, they should be able to deliver. So we look at we do job profiling. We look at different jobs that these people can be able to do. Then from there, after doing the job analysis, then we start, identifying those particular competences that these people must have to be able to deliver on the job. Then once we finish that, we ask ourselves a question and say, okay, what kind of curriculum or what kind of material we should share with these people? How are you supposed to teach these people to develop these competences to deliver on the job? Then once we've done that, we develop the curriculum and the syllabus and the learning materials. And then now we also assess we start developing the learning and development strategy, including giving the assessments, how these people are going to be assessed, to make sure that we can be able we can be sure that these people have developed those competences that we were looking forward to have them have. And then once that is done, we don't stop there. We do what we call benchmarking. So when we are benchmarking now, that's when now we think about ACCA, we think about PAUS, we think about, because the reason why we do that is sometimes when you just talk to your market, remember your market also, people might be thinking locally. They don't have that international exposure. They're just thinking about the current needs. But remember, you're not producing these people for the current needs. You're also preparing them for the future needs as well.
I see.
Yeah, and sometimes in the local market, you may not get that. So when you're doing this benchmarking, it helps you now to identify some of those things that you might have missed along the way. And then also these ones are also included. Then you come up with a complete package. Then, of course, when we are doing some of these things, we are guided also by the international education standards. There are 8 of them. We make sure all these are there. And the benchmarking is very thorough because it helps you to benchmark one with the qualification framework within your country, because you want to know if these people complete their CPA or CAT qualification, where are they going to sit? You know, is the CPA equivalent to a master's? Is it equivalent to a bachelor's degree? Is it in between? Where is it sitting? It's also very important as well. Right. But the good news is, you know, internationally now we have some countries have already gone ahead, like in Pakistan, for example. The CA Pakistan is equivalent to a master's, and also even ACCA qualification in Pakistan is equivalent to a master's. They have already done that. I think India also has done that, in the UK as well. So at least, you know, because in most cases, when people would go straight and do the professional qualifications, they will end up in a kind of prison. You know, you go out there, you tell somebody, I'm a CPA. What is a CPA? Because a lot of people understand academic qualifications more than the professional qualifications.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, is this person a diploma holder? Is he a degree holder? Is it a master's holder? What is it? And, you know, it would cause a bit of confusion. But when you benchmark it to your national qualification framework, it makes all those processes easier. And also, you're trying also to help your people. Should somebody be a CPA and they want to go into academia, for example, yeah, can they be admitted into a PhD program, for example?
Wow.
Because they have the knowledge, they have everything, and they can be very useful people. And then, you know, and also even attract people also from the other side as well to come into your profession, so that, you know, you create that dual membership, I call it the dual movement, you know, in and out of the profession. It's very critical. Then we also now benchmark with other professional bodies. So if I'm talking about AICPA in the US, I want to make sure that whatever is covered by AICPA, because remember, some of my members are going to move in some of those jurisdictions, and I don't want them to be disadvantaged. So, you know, so I have to benchmark so that when this person goes there, we can assure those people that, look, it also helps us in processes like mutual recognition agreements. We've signed a couple of mutual recognition agreements, or MOUs for that matter. So we have, like for us, we have a mutual recognition agreement across with the professional bodies within the region. That's where we've started. Then we have also signed a mutual recognition agreement with CIMA AICPA. You know, CIMA and AICPA now they have merged.
Yes, yeah.
So we have signed a mutual recognition agreement. So if you're a CPA Rwanda and you want to become a CIMA member or an ACPA member, you only have to do one strategic case study exam, and then you become an ACPA member. You know, which I think is a good thing for our members who want to do that. ACCA, we are still in the, we had benchmarked with the old syllabus. People are receiving around 9 exemptions. but we are still in discussions because we recently revamped our CPA qualification, so we want them to be able to recognize even the new CPA qualification, but we're waiting for us to at least finish the assessments, because it's also part of the things that they look at, and also get that recognition. For organizations like CIPFA, for example, CIPFA, there is automatic recognition. If you're a CPA Rwanda and you want to be a CIPFA member, you don't need to do any exam. All you need to do is just demonstrate your experience in public sector, and that's it. You're set to go. Now, we've also signed an MRA with SAIPA, the South African Institute of Professional Accountants. There's also, membership, direct membership. When you're CPA Rwanda and you want to become a member of SAIPA, there is no exam, nothing. You just submit your papers, and then you become an automatic member. So all those things, they're geared around how you've prepared everything. If you don't prepare very well, your people will not be recognized, and that will limit their international mobility, and we don't want that. So because we want to help our members to be able to do that
wherever they go.
Wherever they are. And of course, you also have to constantly keep reviewing. So in our qualification, we're looking at two things. We're looking at making sure that the qualification is internationally recognized, but also locally relevant. Because remember, also you have to resolve the local issues at home.
Exactly. So with regard to this, I think this is one of the main things people have to keep in mind, is not just to have international recognition. You might be ACCA or CPA, but it might not be 100% relevant to the local standards. Or like in Sudan, we have Zakat, which has nothing to do with either CPA or ACCA. So that means the local professional certificate has to address all of this.
Of course, I'm just looking at myself. I'm looking at a local business person. I've given somebody a job as an accountant, and I've told them, go to the local tax body and help me to file my accounts. Help me to file my tax returns and things of the sort. I expect you to go there, go into the systems, do the filing, sort out all my taxation issues, and I'm okay. I'm not given any penalties, and I'm 100% compliant. That's what I'm looking for as a business person, and that person has to be in a position to be able to deliver that. They should not be telling me theories, principles of accounting, all those things. No, you can keep your theories, but resolve my issues as well.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you, Mr. So before we go to the second agenda, when you started this process of benchmarking and market research, do you remember how many qualified accountants you have at that time? That was, and when it was in?
I beg your pardon? Hashim, I didn't pick the questions clearly.
So when you started, when the CPA started the process of market research and market research, before you go into development of the syllabus and all these kind of things, do you remember how many qualified accountants you have at that time?
I can go by timeline. When you look at ICPA started, the law establishing ICPA was promulgated in 2008.
I see.
And shortly before that, we only had around 5 CPAs in the whole country.
Really?
Yes, and all these were holders of foreign qualifications.
The 5?
Yes, the holders of foreign qualifications, because in the country, we had never established a PO, so there wasn't anything that we're offering. Then once the ICPA was established by that law, it was law number 11/208 of May 2008. The initial registration of the members started in 2009. And at that time, we had 98 CPAs, and around 10 associate accountants at the time. Then at that time, we started now, the following year, we created a fund within the Ministry of Finance. At that time, I was still working in the Ministry of Finance. I was in charge of public financial management reforms there at the time, and the country had just finished doing what they call the ROSC, a report on observance of standards and codes for accounting and auditing. And one of the recommendations from that report, that World Bank report, was that if the country was keen to attract investment, it has to establish a professional accountants organization. So we picked that up. We put it as part of our public financial management reform strategy for the government, and then we helped. Then we had to mobilize funds under the basket fund that we established in 2010. Then in 2011, we set up the secretariat with a CEO and a few secretariat staff to be able to help at least to implement some of the things and set up things like those research, and then set up the syllabus, because in 2012, around December, that's when we in May 2012, that's when we launched the CPA Rwanda, the CPA Rwanda qualification and the CAT, and then in December, that's when we examined the first students. There were around 100 students. Yeah, and at that time, I was part of the examination commission that was in charge of all that. Then from there on, we started now with other functions. But we were very keen, even when we were recruiting the CEO. So I was seated on the panel, and we had two leading candidates. One was an old man who had over 30 years of experience. I think was from the UK. And then we had another gentleman from Kenya who later became our first CEO. Was called Evans, and he was very young. He had just come from. He was serving in ISPAC as a deputy CEO. And because of being young, dynamic, and also even understanding the local environment, we took that gamble and said, no. Even though this person is telling us experience, but we know setting up a PO is going to be a lot of work. There'll be a lot of running up and down. So you need somebody with the energy. You need somebody who's going to connect with the local environment. And we went for that young man. And I think it is one of the best decisions that we made. And he helped to create at least some of the foundational things that we built on when we came in at a later period.
Okay, well done. So let's go to the pillar number 2. It has to do with the building and qualification design. So here is we talking about developing a local talent and sustainable training pipeline. So the question is, how did Rwanda bridge the gap between university business graduates and market-ready professional accountants so rapidly? Because as you just said, in 2008, when you start like establishing everything has to do with CPA Rwanda, you just have 5 qualified accountants. So how do you make this so rapidly, especially university graduates and market professionals? As I can mention that in Sudan, we have a gap of the university graduates as somehow, I could say, not exactly as what the market is looking for. Okay.
So we've also had that problem as well. So as a country, what we believed was that without competent professionals, standards remain documents on the shelves. They will never be implemented. You implement standards when you have the right people.
Yeah.
So we started off initially when we started off by convincing the government, because the government also wanted to build a strong PFM system, and they also wanted to build a critical mass of qualified financial professionals within the public sector. So they started sponsoring public servants. So if you're going to be a public servant and you're doing a finance-related job, you are part of the scheme for the public sector, and the government was sponsoring civil servants, and they're still doing it even up to today. But the problem with that is that some of the people are not motivated, because some of them probably they are almost reaching retirement age. So they are thinking about the retirement. So why should they invest a lot of time and energy into some of these qualifications? Because Hashim, me and you, we know what it takes to get your professional qualification.
Yeah.
You know, you have to spend sleepless nights. You have to do a lot of revision. You know, you have to miss so many weddings. You have to miss social events and all those kind of things. Yeah. So now from there on, the debate evolved. We looked at the country and we said, okay, so if we have, if we as Rwanda, if we say that we want to have a competitive economy, it means that if you're going to be competitive in the future, we have to look at the future generation. These are the young people. So if the country is not going to be investing in the young generation, then we are missing the whole point.
Exactly.
So we started also another scheme within the government. We worked with the government to come up with another scheme for supporting high-performing students in higher institutions of learning, high-performing students who are in the who are doing accounting and finance in high institutions of learning, and this one is and we tweaked the model a little bit. It is performance based. It's performance based financing that the government is giving the universities and colleges to produce those people. So what the government is telling the universities is telling them that if you can be able to give us these qualified professionals, we shall pay you. So currently they are paying around around 200,000 for each student who passes the CPA paper. So the university invests, they look for the teachers, they look for the materials, you know, they do revision courses for these people, they prepare them, and then they sit. So once they sit and the results are out, they get their results, and then they present those results to the government, and then together they also send an invoice. The government is not interested in saying, no, we don't have facilities, we have problems, keep your problems, give us the results. You know, that kind of a thing. And then, of course, because there are also financial incentives, they use those incentives now to be able to improve the infrastructure, to be able to improve and develop their teaching personnel, and also recruit, you know, world-class teachers and all those kind of things. That's also something that we've been able to do. Now, Hashim, we are also going now another notch higher. You remember at the beginning of this program, I told you that my goal is to make sure that every corner of Rwanda,
every corner in Rwanda is a CPA.
So when you meet, it has to be a certified accounting technician or a CPA. So we've moved now into that stage. Here, what we've done is that we have what we call the National Strategy for Transformation 2. It's a 5-year development plan that is supposed to help government, you know, to be making steps closer to become a highly developed country, a high income country. Yeah, of course, by 2050. So now it has all these 5-year development plans, and the NST is one of them that should progressively help the country to achieve those targets. So the government has sat down and said, okay, we can't build the capacity in everything, but at least we can start with at least 10 critical skills. And among those 10 critical skills that the government is keen to build capacity in, accounting is one of them.
I see.
So, and then accounting is one of them. So now we have said we have to capture these students when they are young, because remember, we learned through the previous programs that when you start with old people, these people are already distracted. They have other problems. They have other
Yes, they have
priorities. So they can't really concentrate 100%.
I see.
And also, we also need to give our youth also an opportunity, because these are the future on which the country is going to be built. So, yeah. So now we started also the process now of aligning our secondary school accounting curriculum to the certified accounting technician qualification.
You mean secondary school?
Yes.
So you have accounting curriculum in secondary school?
Yes, so they have aligned the secondary school curriculum to the certified accounting technician for those ones who are in the accounting stream. So now it means people are studying the same. So they're studying the CAT syllabus. Now, the government now has set aside resources for these students to sit the institute professional exams for being certified accounting technicians. Our certified accounting technician has 3 stages. It has stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. So stage 1 has been aligned to the is in secondary 4, S4, what we call like second S4. Then the stage 2 is in S5, and then stage 3 is embedded in S6 when they finish their high school. So so when the students now do their full year training, at the end, before they finish the academic year, towards the end, they do the CAT exams. So we recently finished the first cohort. They did the exams in June, 2 months ago, June 2026. Yeah, so and we had around 2,300, over 2,300 students who were able to sit the CAT examinations.
2,000.
Yes, 2,000.
2,300.
In every district, were able to have students sit for those exams. So I had to deploy people out of the country, yeah, to be able to supervise those examinations and make sure that those students are able to do the examinations. And so what is going to happen now is these students, they have finished their senior 4. So next this academic year, starting September, they'll move to they'll move to S5. So then they're also going to recruit now S4 and then S5. So now the students' numbers are going to double. You're going to move to almost close to 5,000. Then after that, the S5 will move to S6. So you're going to have S4, S5, S6, which will take you to around 7,500. And those are, and the ones that we started with are from government-aided schools. So now we are also now working on a package for private schools as well, so that we can be able, because our total target is to have at least 11,000 students at the CAT level.
11,000 students.
11,000. So, so Hashim, do you see now that I'm moving closer to my goal by having these young people?
Every corner in Rwanda is an equality.
Yes, because it means after 3 years, you're going to be having at least, you're going to be churning. We're going to reach a stage where after the 3 years, we're going to be churning at least a minimum of around 2,000 to 3,000 certified accounting technicians every year.
Very correct.
So put that in 10 years. How many people are we going to have?
Wow.
You know, you're going to be having thousands of people,
exactly.
tens of thousands of people who are going to be accounting technicians. Exactly. So it means now you're increasing the chances of every business having at least one person supporting them into in their business, you know, being a business advisor, helping them with taxation issues, helping them with accounting and reporting matters and all those kind of things, strategic planning and all those things. So yeah, so so Hashim, now for us to be able to do that, we also had to do other things beyond the syllabus and the curriculum. we also had to come up with something they call the accreditation framework.
Wow.
You had to accredit the institutions because people, they have to be in these institutions. So the accreditation framework looks at two things. It looks at the institution and also the individual. So you accredit the institution, you also accredit the individuals because it is the individuals that make up the institution.
So here you mean the universities?
Yes, so you could have universities, colleges, secondary schools,
Colleges, like learning provider, whatever.
all that, yeah, learning providers, and then you could also have private tuition providers as well.
So
Yes,
like
because there are people who don't go to universities and secondary schools, and they go directly to the private tuition provider.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's also another. So we accredit all those. So do you have the facilities? Do you have a permanent address where you're operating from? Do you have the governance structures? How is your financials? Are you sustainable? You know, do you have facilities? You know, do you have computers? Do you have books? You have all those things. You know, we look at that. Do you have the teachers who are certified? Do you have the teachers? Do you have all these things? So we look at all those aspects as well. Yeah. So then after that, for us, the way we understand accreditation, it's a journey. It's not a one-day event. You know, it's a journey. When somebody is starting the business the first time, they don't think about quality. It's not their first priority. The first priority is for them to establish themselves, to survive first. They're in survival mode when they're starting. And then over time, as they try to build their cash flows and they try to build their business, now they can start thinking about all those great things. So we help them. So our accreditation, you know, we have people start with the bronze, they move to silver, they move to gold.
And so, yeah.
Then now we move away from that. So that is the accrediting now the learning providers. Now there's also accrediting examination centers to have access. So currently, as we speak, Hashim, the CPA Rwanda is not only limited now to Rwanda. We have an examination center and a learning center in Somaliland now in Nergesa as well, as we speak. So they have also taken up the CPA Rwanda qualification. So then also now we are currently also working on digitizing our qualification. It's also part of our blueprint. We are thinking of digitizing our qualification, so we are working on an integrated learning management system. We're also working on the computer-based examinations. And our hope is, if somebody is going to be in Khartoum or Omdurman, they can just sit there, they go there, they register online, and then they do their studies online, and then they can even sit the exams, and then they become CPA Rwanda. Yeah, and then if they choose to come and work in Rwanda, well and good, because Rwanda, we are an open country. We want as many people as possible. And currently we have a big Sudanese community that is thriving here. So why not have more? That's good for us.
Yeah.
And then if you want also to go and work in other countries, that's also great. Or if they still want to operate within their country, that's also fantastic.
Yeah.
And then and Hashim, one of the things that I wanted to stress on, when you're starting, we shouldn't be worried about whether somebody is CPA US or somebody is SCCA or CPA Rwanda. No, the most important thing is, can we get all those professionals on board?
I think this is the key.
So let's get whoever we can get, and then, because remember, even if you decide to say, let's say that we have set up CPA Sudan, for example, qualification, you need teachers. Where are they going to get them? Because you're just starting. So you're going to use SCCA people to help you to teach. You're going to use CPA US to help you to teach and examine some of these papers. So you need the support of everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this is the key. So thank you, Mutami. Let's go for the part 3. So now we're talking about the global recognition and public financial management. This is the area of, one of the big jobs that you did with the CPA Rwanda. So here we're talking about evaluating standards to global benchmark and supporting state resilience. So the question is, in a time of economic rebuilding or transition. I think this is now what we are facing in the country. How can a professional body position itself as indispensable partner to a state rather than just a regulator? I think to be a value adding body, it's not easy. So, and accounting is the key, as you said, in any economy.
Yeah, so Ashim, for me, I think that when you're building a professional body, like when you're building a professional body, what the market needs what a professional what a professional body needs to do is that you need to build that trust, and the only way you can build the trust is for you to be able to build a trust is when you have this organization and it is doing its mandate. It gives that trust. Because I'll be honest with you. When investors used to come in Rwanda, the first question they were asking was, yes, I'm willing to come and invest in the country, but do you have the professionals?
Yeah, this is very key.
Yeah, I want to get a good CFO. Do you have a good CFO? Yeah, and some of them, they were familiar with the SCCA, they were familiar with the AICPA in the US, CIMA and all those, and then they'll say, okay, so do you have SCCA people, do you have CIMA members in your country? Or do you have CPAs and all that? And then it was a challenge.
Yes, it's really a challenge.
So it means also you're also increasing the cost of doing business in your country, because they'll need to go in the US. They convince somebody from the US to come and relocate and come into your country. To come and do some of that job. But if you already have these people within the country, then it means now they feel that they have the confidence, they have somebody who's going to come and help them. Because remember, some of those businesses, when they're coming into the country, they don't want to be in trouble with the taxman.
Yeah.
They want to have somebody who's going to come and give them a peace of mind.
That is correct.
They're managing everything on their behalf, and then they can be able to focus on business development, expanding the operations, creating impact, and all those kind of things.
Yeah, this is very clear.
Yeah. As a professional body, you need to give that confidence to the people, to the investors, to other people, and also even other regulators. Like in our case, we have the taxman. What the taxman sometimes is interested in, they want to determine probably corporate income tax. And the only way they can do that is through financial statements, because they have to first establish how much profit did you make. And the only way they can be able to do that is through credible financial statements.
Yes.
that have been prepared in accordance with the FRS, and they have been audited properly using the international auditing standards, and the opinion that has come up is a solid opinion. So now we've even reached a point where now the taxman was having headache. Initially, our taxman used to establish a list or accredit people who are going to be tax advisors and tax accountants. When the institute was set up, we told him, no, that's not your job. Focus on expanding the revenue base, implementing, tax measures and all those kind of things. You can leave that issue to us. And it was a huge relief for them, because At least now they know there's somebody who is dealing with issues of capacity, who is following up on these things. So now all they need to do is that the first thing when you go there to register yourself as a tax advisor, the first thing they ask you, are you a CPA Rwanda? They go on the CPA Rwanda website. They see whether your name appears. You bring your certificates, you bring your documents, then they register you as well.
Wow.
Into the system. Yeah. So it creates that. We've also had issues like in the implementation of financial reporting standards. Like for example, IFRS 9. For institutions like banks, it was a big headache.
Yeah.
So they needed a lot of support, and for us to explain to people, build the capacity of the accounting professionals to be able to help the organizations in navigating some of these standards, and that's what a professional body is supposed to be doing.
Wow, well done. So thank you. So let's go to the last agenda before, and then the one that before we go to the question. Here we talk about digital transformation, AI and future readiness. So people are worried, and a lot of people sending a message is that, like, and then the same questions that I asked the CEO in the first session, CEO, but in Sudan is the AI is going to replace accountants. So embracing technology, automation, and modern auditing practices to leapfrog traditional development stages. So the question is, as emerging technologies and AI redefine global financial standards, how can a newly established professional accounting body equip its members to leapfrog legacy practices rather than just playing catch up?
Yeah, thank you, Hashim, for this. For us, it's very key. So we've started, even in our syllabus, we constantly review our syllabus. Like right now, in our old CPA syllabus, we didn't have we didn't have a lot of IT. So I would basically have things like spreadsheets and things of the sort. But now we've introduced a new paper called digital finance, to help our professionals, because it is very clear that professionals that are not going to embrace AI and all these other digital tools, they're going to be replaced. AI is not going to replace accountants, but accountants that are not going to embrace AI will be replaced. Because what is a client or an employer looking for? They want a good job, and they want a good job quickly.
Yeah.
Quickly, very efficiently, and free of errors and all that. So, and the only way you can be able to achieve that is for you to be on top of this. So we have embedded into our curriculum all that, and we keep, of course, doing that. And then also, even through throughout our professional, continuous professional development programs for our members, because remember, IFAC says, as a member of IFAC, members of professional bodies, they're supposed to be having at least 40 hours of continuous professional development. These are around 120 hours over a 3-year period, but if you just divide by 3, that's around like 40 hours every year. So we monitor that, and then we also try to create programs that assist our members to become relevant. Because as a PO, if we don't assist our members to develop those skills, they're going to become obsolete.
Exactly.
And if the market rejects them, they'll be jobless. If they become jobless, they will not be able to pay their membership fees. And then it means, as a PO, you're not going to be having members. So if you don't have members, then you don't have anything. So you're back to square one. So it's important.
I'm not going to start the same process from the beginning.
So it's important that you help your members to become relevant within the market, to also show that they can deliver value for the businesses and for the wider economy. It's very, very critical.
Yeah,
so
that's
AI,
great.
there's no way about it. So even in our CAT exams, in our stage 1, we start them off with simple things like spreadsheets, so that at least those young people, they start developing, skills around spreadsheets. Then they move to accounting softwares, and then now as they move up there, now they'll move into computer assisted auditing techniques and electronic working papers, and all these other wonderful tools that we have as accountants, so that they can be more relevant, they can be more efficient in their work, and they can be generally on top of their game.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is very clear. So, should we go to the second part of the session, or you want the break?
Yeah, we can move on to the second part, so that we do not, have people.
Yeah. Okay. So we have. First of all, I just want to thank the people who just sent the questions. Mr. Hamdoun. Hamdoun is my friend, to be honest, and Dr. Muhammad Hussein Umran, and Mr. Moza Bezeddin Jubal. Also, he was my colleague at the university, and Dr. Sarah Abdulazim. She was a head of the program management unit of the Global Fund. I worked with her in that unit, and also Dr. Zainab Abdulaziz. She also was my colleague at the university. Okay, so let's start with the question 1 that Hamdoun is asking. All of the questions are strategic questions, to be honest. His first question is, if Sudan wanted to replicate Rwanda's success, what would be the first 3 reforms you would recommend? And also he's asking that why should this come before everything else? It's very precise.
Yeah, so in responding to that, the first 3 things that I would recommend would be, first, to establish a strong legal, independent, professional accountancy organization. Because a professional accountancy organization must have a clear legal mandate, like to regulate the profession, admit members, license practitioners, monitor quality, enforce discipline, and support professional development. Without a strong institution, everything else becomes fragmented.
I see. That's correct.
Yeah. So then the second thing that has to be done is to build competent professionals. No profession becomes strong because of regulations alone. There must be deliberate efforts to invest in internationally benchmarked education, practical experience, continuous professional development, and professional ethics. People create institutions, not the other way around. Then thirdly, build public confidence. Trust is the currency of the profession. This requires that quality assurance reviews for the accounting and auditing firms is done. Independent disciplinary systems. Ashim, I think you've seen in our case, if you've even gone, so we've sanctioned some of the firms, and our firms, just because we need to walk the talk. A lot of POs globally, they're not doing that. Professional bodies have become like, it's it's like a brotherhood where people are just there to protect themselves and protect their interests. But we need to have systems that are independent disciplinary systems that are impartial, and that can also be subjected to public scrutiny. So we've even had situations where people have even gone to court and the courts have dismissed the appeal, said, no, the institute has exercised its mandate and they have done everything according to the way the law says. Then you must also ensure as a profession there's transparency in what you do. You must also collaborate with other regulators, like I've talked about, the taxman, the central bank, the capital market authority, and other regulators as well. So it's very, very important. Then there must also be visible enforcement when standards are breached. So once trust exists, governments, investors, and businesses naturally rely on the profession. So Ashim, I'll even tell you in that same situation, when the government is looking at anything related to accounting and finance related, the government always requests for advice from the professional body that, guys, you are the experts. What do you think? Is there anything else that we might have missed? And then we work together along those lines. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Let's go to the second question. He's also asking, Rwanda successfully adopted international standards such as IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standard, and ISA. What institutional, legal, and educational changes made implementation successful rather than just simple?
Yeah. So I would say that many countries adopt standards on paper. They carry out a very nice ceremony, and they come up with a good press release. We adopt international accounting standards and all that. But now, when you come to the implementation, that's where now the real challenge is. So, in our case, we believe that success comes from 5 elements. The first element is legal backing. Standards become part of the regulatory framework rather than optional guidance.
It must.
It must. So when you come to in our case, if you come to the company law, for example, it clearly states that companies must produce financial statements that are in line with IFRS. It's not optional. So even us in ICPA case, our auditors must follow the international auditing standards and international ethical standards as well. They must follow the ethical code for professional accountants. In the public sector, when you look at the PFM law, it's very clear. The government financial reporting framework, it has to be aligned to the international public sector accounting standards as well. So it is that. Yeah. Then the next one is, the second element is the educational reform. So we have to ensure that the ICPA curriculum was aligned to IFRS, ISA, and IPAC educational standards, the ISs. Students have to learn these international standards before entering practice. It's like having a soldier and they have never fired even a single shot. A soldier, when you're going to become a soldier, the first thing you have is that you have to know how to assemble the gun, dismantle it, put the bullets, and be able to shoot.
Yes,
otherwise, if you go there to the field and you don't know these things, you're going to be shot even before you fire the first shot.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. Then the next one is continuous professional development.
Yeah.
Existing accountants are continually trained whenever standards change. So learning never stops after the qualification. So that's why IFAC recognizes and says, as a PO, as a full member of IFAC, your members must have at least 40 hours of continuous professional development. Because like tax laws, for example, every year when they read the budget, there are new fiscal measures that are put in place. So our members have to know so that they can help their class to be able to be on top of that game. The business laws keep changing, the technology keeps changing, and you have to make sure that our members are on top of all those changes and they can be able to help the organizations to navigate through all that. Then practice monitoring. Quality assurance reviews assess whether firms are actually applying the standards, not simply claiming compliance. So if you go on our website, you'll see we've sanctioned. We do have what we call auditing quality assurance reviews for our member firms. So we have scheduled them. We have the scheduled ones, and then we also have special ones where a regulator or any other member of the or any other litigant, they come and say, this person is not following the standards. Now we come in and look through when other regulators raise that. And as a result, we request them to do corrective actions. We also even sanction them. You can go to a website and you can be able to confirm that. Then the last element is discipline.
Wow.
Failure to comply they attracted corrective actions, and where necessary, disciplinary sanctions have to be implemented. This has created accountability.
Yeah.
We have to walk the talk. We have to show people that if you're not going to be compliant, these are some of the things that have to be. And it's not, so you have to be impartial. You must have, so we have established a robust disciplinary mechanism, investigation disciplinary mechanism in line with the SMO 6 of the International Federation of Accountants. And we have consistently applied it across the region. And actually, I will tell you, it is scary because I remember there's a year, I think it was 2022, we sanctioned 50% of our member firms. It is that serious.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's not, even if it meant that all our members are errant, all of them could have been sanctioned. But I'll tell you, I'm grateful to our members because they also recognized that we are not just witch hunting them, or we're not just coming after them. We took them through that process, and we helped them to build their capacity after that. And I would say now confidently that we did a scheduled EQA recently, and 87% of our member firms were found to be compliant.
Well done.
Yeah, so you can see. So, but then you have to start off on a serious note. If we had not started off with that level of seriousness, I'm sure we would not have achieved that.
I agree. Okay. So I think the third and the fourth questions of Hamdun, you already answered them. So we can just jump to the question of Dr. Muhammad Hussein Umran. He's also asking two strategic questions. The first one is sustaining institutional independence. So it says, Rwanda's success required a strong collaboration with the government while maintaining professional independence. What governance mechanisms proved most effective in protecting Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Rwanda independence from political or institutional influence? And what lesson would you recommend for Sudan when establishing or reforming its professional accounting body?
It's a very interesting question.
Very interesting question, yeah.
A lot of professional accountants organization, they tend to be scared about dealing with the government.
Yes.
And they think that they're going to be open to interference and distortions and to affect their independence. But in our case, we have looked at government differently. We have looked at government as a partner, because we know, because remember, government has a lot of resources to spare. So if you can be able to align to the vision, to the broader vision, and you show the government that you are a partner in development, they'll help you to achieve quite a lot of things, and they can put at your disposal a lot of resources that you can leverage to do all these good things.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, so you have to look at the whole development ambition of the country, development plans, and then you develop a niche for yourself as a professional. But how are you going to support the development ambitions of the government?
Exactly. Otherwise, you don't get the government support.
You're not going to get the government support. And if you don't get it, and remember, you need each other. The government also needs you. So there has to be that. But of course, as a professional body also, you have to be very mindful. So what we agreed with the government in terms of funding, for example, we refuse to become a budget agency. See, if you decide to become like a ministry and every time they have to allocate you a budget, then now you're finished. So they set up a project which was being financed through development partners, which is a good thing. Then now we have also now transformed through that. Now external grants are not very easy to come across nowadays. So now we have established ourselves as a service provider to the government. So like for government, we are the one-stop center for all PFM related trainings for government, for all PFM related capacity building initiatives. We are the ones who handle that because we have built capacity. We also have a qualification that we've built called it's called the Certified Public Financial Management Qualification, CPFM. That is used as an induction for people who want to venture into public service or into the public sector. We do trainings with them. We have framework contracts with the government, and we have that capacity, and we have demonstrated that we can be a reliable partner.
Nice.
And we are working quite together. And recently, Hashim, what is very interesting, you remember this thing, there's now ongoing talk around sustainability. And it's a huge topic across.
Yes, this one is a big topic.
Yeah. So now, in the country now, the issue was, as a country, we decided to say, yes, we're going to adopt the sustainability standards. But adoption alone will not solve the issue. We have to come up with a roadmap to assist also in the implementation. So it was resolved that we should create as a country an ISSB implementation steering committee. And guess what? That is comprising of all the regulators within the country. And it was unanimously agreed by all the regulators that ICPA should chair that steering committee and should house that committee. So it goes a long way to show you the kind of recognition and value that is given to the institute. So they said, no, these are the guys, these are the experts, and they can successfully steer us into the right direction.
Wow. Okay, thank you. So let's go to the second question. Dr. Omran is asking, building trust during institutional recognition, this is part one. Part two of this question is, in post-conflict or institutionally fragile environment, a public trust is often limited beyond technical standards and IFAC and IFRS or IFAC compliance. What were the key leadership decisions and stakeholder engagement strategies that help build confidence among government, universities, employers, the public, and which of these would you consider more critical for Sudan today?
Yeah, so for me, one of the things that I would say is that trust is earned through actions rather than communication. So it's important that decisions that are being taken include applying rules consistently, treating all firms equally, investing in education, conducting quality assurance reviews, disciplining misconduct, engaging employers and universities, and demonstrating value to government and other stakeholders. And people now will trust the institution because they see fairness and they see competence.
So the key is demonstrating action for us to be trusted, not just
Yeah.
People have to see your value, have to see the action that you're taking. Yeah, I see. I think this is fair enough. So thank you. So now this is Musa Bezadi is asking about information system auditor. His question is, he's telling me that ask your guest about Rwanda's experience in regulating the information system audit profession, including how practice licenses are issued and how they are integrated into the professional body regulatory framework. So
yeah, so Ashim, this is an area that is still evolving. Unlike statutory financial audit, information system audit is not yet regulated as a separate licensed profession under ICPA. Of course, we know many IS auditors hold international certification like the CISA.
yeah,
and ICT audit engagements are performed within existing legal and professional frameworks that we have within the country. Financial statements audits increasingly incorporate IT controls, cybersecurity, and systems assurance under ISA requirements. Rwanda is seeing growing demand for specialized ICT assurance as digital transformation accelerates. But if Sudan wishes to establish this area, I would recommend defining competence requirements, recognizing internationally accepted certifications, developing practice guidelines, and creating licensing requirements gradually as demand grows. However, this is very important to note. I would avoid creating excessive regulation before the market develops. You see, the problem now that Sudan will be facing that, remember you have a young profession that is coming up. So imagine now if you start fragmenting it, IT audits, internal audit, and all these kind of things, you know, it's difficult for you because remember you're trying to, so you want to first have everything together. And then now as the market develops, now you can start now having all these other things and defining clearly how they're going to operate within the country's framework.
Yeah, I think this is fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, because remember now, if you go to the government, you're requesting money, and then the IC auditors go there, they also want money. The internal auditors, then the government even gets confused. They're still even trying to understand who a CPA is and what they can do.
Yeah. So what's the difference between CPA and CPA?
Then they say, okay, are you saying these people are not muhasib? Are these not muhasib? Who are these people? Then becomes a challenge.
And then you keep explaining a lot of things, and then
yeah.
So let's go to the other question. It's from Dr. Sarah Abdulazim Hassanein. She's asking that, she's also asking from the know-how, transferring the know-how from Rwanda's experience. So she has 3 questions. So what should the priorities and phases looks like for rebuilding and empowering accounting institutions and professional bodies as a foundation for transparency, given the dismantled state of our current structures? And she's talking about the current issues that now we are facing. And also, he said, in other words, should we begin by organizing the core accounting functions, developing human capacity, and advancing digitalization? Or should we, or should the oversight mechanism and third-party governance take place? To be honest, I didn't understand what she means by third-party governance. And then she added at the end, and if we prioritize oversight, now she's talking about third-party governance, how can we ensure that our sovereignty remains protected?
Okay, so I'll start with the priorities. So I would recommend at least 4 phases. The first one is you have to restore governance. There has to be a legal framework that governs the profession. That's like putting in place like an act that legally establishes I saw there was the CAC, the Sudanese Accounting and Auditing body. So there has to be that legal framework. Then you have to establish the professional body itself. You have it has to have leadership. If you're called into a forum, somebody has to be there to represent the organization, and then it must also have the governance structures, that help you to deliver on the mandate. And Hashim, the most important thing that people have to understand, as a PO, one of the key structures that is very, very instrumental. You can have all these nice committees where people from different organizations can sit. Yes, they will come and talk, but somebody has to be able to sit at the institute and do the actual work and follow up on a day-to-day. So the secretariat is very, very critical because it supports the governance structures. If you're in a meeting, who will take the minutes? Who will follow up on the decisions or the recommendations that have been adopted within the meeting? So you must have the people that are fully, and they're doing it on a full-time basis. They're not doing it just as a part-time, or they're not just doing it as volunteers. When you're starting, maybe you can start with volunteers, but as resources become available, you should consider having full-time staff who are doing this thing on a day-to-day basis, so that it does not become an afterthought. Then you must develop people within the country, of course, education, examinations, university partnerships, and professional qualifications. Those are very key. The third phase would be strengthen regulation, license, ensure that you do your quality assurance. When you do quality assurance, does not mean that you're going to sanction people. No, you just want to know the base. What am I dealing with here? You might find that even some of the operating firms do not even have the basics. They don't even have audit files. They don't even know how to file their work. You can just even start them by just doing those basic things. So it's just about trying to establish the baseline, and then you know what kind of problems you're dealing with. Then, of course, issues of ethics have to be dealt with. Investigations and discipline, they're very key because they bring about the trust. Then, of course, once you're done with that, now you move to the other interesting stage, which is to digitize member systems, examinations. Sudan is a big country.
Yes, a very big country.
Yeah, so if somebody is in Omdurman, can they be able to come in there very quickly and be able to register and apply for a license or apply for membership, and they also pay online? If I'm in Port Sudan, for example, can I be able to do that without necessarily traveling to Khartoum? It's very important. Then examinations, CPDs, licensing, inspections. So data systems improve efficiency, but they cannot replace strong governance. Then on the issue of whether oversight comes before capacity development, I believe that neither should come first in isolation. So these are things that have to come hand in hand. Oversight without competent professionals creates fear. Capacity without oversight creates poor quality. So they have to develop together. But if resources are limited, beginning with basic governance while simultaneously investing heavily in education is important.
I see.
Yeah. And then the issue of strengthening without losing sovereignty. International standards do not reduce sovereignty. They strengthen credibility. So in my view, Sudan should adopt international standards while designing institutions that reflect Sudanese laws, culture, and priorities. So people must be in a, so you must be able to think globally and implement locally.
I see. Yeah. Thank you. So now we're going to the last question that comes from Dr. Zainab Abdulaziz. She's saying that given she's talking about your experience. Given his experience coming from a country that has endured a war and severe hardship, what guidance would you offer to policymakers, officials, and accountants in nations emerging from the conflict? Especially, she's talking that specifically, how can they remain aligned with the global development of accounting profession during the period of conflict and in the years that follow.
Yep. So Rwanda's experience teaches us that recovery begins with institutions. Conflict destroys infrastructure. It also weakens trust. So accounting professionals play an important role in rebuilding both. So my advice would be never compromise integrity because of difficult circumstances. Invest in young professionals. Remain connected to the international profession. Build institutions before buildings.
You have to explain this. Build institutions before building. So
Yes.
Yeah.
So treat transparency as a national asset, not merely as an accounting requirement.
I see.
A strong accountancy profession is not only about financial reporting. It has to be able to support governance, good governance. It must be able to support public financial management, support investor confidence, anti-corruption efforts, and economic recovery. That's why rebuilding the profession should be considered part of rebuilding the Sudanese nation.
Yeah. Very clear.
Yeah.
This is, yeah, it's very clear, to be honest.
Yeah. So, Hashim, are we done with the questions?
I think we are done with the question. Yeah, we are done with the question. I did have some information that I gathered from the internet about the Sudan Accounting Auditing Organization Council and also about the Public Council of Rwanda. If you have time, I just wanna read them for the people.
Okay.
And then we wrap.
Sure, no problem.
Okay. So it's a brief background of Sudan Accounting and Auditing Professional Organization Council, SAAPOC, the governing regulatory body in Sudan. The Sudan Accounting and Auditing Professional Organization Council was established under the Accounting and Auditing Profession Organization Law, 2004. So the key milestone in the body statutory evolution is in 1988. Early regulation of the nation profession began with the establishment of Professional Accountancy Council and the Professional Accountants Council Law of 1988. In 2004, the Sudanese Parliament enacted the 2004 law, formally replacing the 1988 framework and established SAAPOC as official national body responsible for writing, registering, management, examination setting, and regulating accounting and auditing standards across the country. This is a little bit brief of the for Sudanese accounting or the professional council. So, with regard to the Secretary of the Account one, I just found very interesting. It's new, but they achieved a lot. So it established, created under the law number 11/2008 of May 6, 2008, as a statutory body mandated to regulate and promote accountancy and auditing profession in Rwanda. Exclusive authority. So IPA is the only institution authorized by law to register accountants, issue practicing certificates to statutory auditors and auditors, and impose professional compliance across the country. International affiliation, a full membership of International Federation of Accountants. And by the way, in Sudan, we used to have a membership of with the IFAC, and it collapsed, I think, in 2004. I don't recall exactly. So you admitted to IFAC membership in 2020. and a member of Pan-African Federation of Accountants. So this is all what I want to say. The last thing is APAC consists two main professional qualifications. CPA-R, Certified Public Accountants, and CAT-R is Certified Accounting Technician. So, yeah. Thank you so much, Simon. I think we have done with the agenda and with the questions that have been asked. So, to be honest, I don't know what to say other than I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for your feedback, answering the questions, giving recommendations for Sudan professionals, and for sure they're gonna benefit a lot from what you have said. And also, I wanted just to mention that the CEO, Dr. Muhammad Hassan, said they're gonna have a forum. I will let him know that to invite you or anyone who can represent this CPA Rwanda, and then I think the collaboration is not from there.
Yeah, sure, no problem. We are looking forward. It's been a privilege. So I just wanted to conclude by saying that Rwanda's journey demonstrates that strong professional institutions are built through vision, integrity, consistency, and partnership. Every country's path is unique, and Sudan should not seek to replicate Rwanda exactly, but rather it should adapt the underlying principles: strong institutions, competent professionals, high ethics standards, and a commitment to serving the public interest. If these foundations are established, the accounting profession can become one of the key pillars of Sudan's economic recovery, transparency, and sustainable development.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
And thank you so much, and have a good rest of your day.
You too. Take care. Bye.